Welcome to Breaking Ties, Is Divorce the Answer? This is your go-to source for practical advice and support when considering if a divorce is the right answer for you. Join us each weekday for a quick chat where we'll uncover a variety of topics such as child custody, property division, and self-care. Together, we'll explore the emotional, financial, and legal aspects of divorce and help you find the best path forward for you and your family. Here is your host and Certified Divorce Financial Analyst Professional, Mike Fulkerson.
Hello and welcome back to Breaking Ties, Is Divorce the Answer? I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And today we're going to get into a concept that can be a real sticking point in divorces. And that is the idea of fairness. We often hear the term fair split thrown around. But what does fair actually mean in the context of divorce? Well, the truth is, it's probably not what you think. Now, we're going to start with what fair isn't. And let's get one thing straight right off the bat here. Fair doesn't equal equal. There we go. Use the same word twice in a row. But really, fair isn't the same as equal. In a perfect world, maybe everything would be split 50-50, but divorce isn't about creating a perfectly balanced seesaw. It's about recognizing the unique circumstances of each spouse and ensuring really a just outcome for both parties involved moving forward. Now, there are multiple factors that really do affect fairness. Now, these factors that will come into play when determining a fair outcome, we got a few big ones here. And one we're going to start with here is just the length of marriage. A couple married for 20 years is likely to have a different financial picture than one married for 2 years. And then you've got contributions to marital assets. Did one spouse inherit a house before the marriage? Did the other stay home to raise children while the first built a career? These contributions should be considered and taken into account. There's also earning potential. If one spouse has a significantly higher earning capacity than the other, spousal maintenance might be necessary to ensure both can maintain a similar standard of living post-divorce. And then we've got the last big one here, which is really child custody. And who's going to be the primary caregiver? Child care costs can be significant, and the division of those responsibilities will impact the financial picture for both parties involved. Now, when it comes down to fair and equal, a lot of times we're looking towards the legal side of things. And so getting some legal guidance can be pretty important, and it's going to be complicated. Divorce laws vary by state, so you're going to want to check out your state laws and what's relevant to you. And when you try to navigate these complexities on your own, it creates a lot of stress. So having an experienced divorce attorney on your side can really help you understand your rights, advocate for your needs, and ensure a fair and equitable settlement is reached. Remember, fair doesn't mean everything has to be perfectly split down the middle. It's about finding a solution that allows both parties to move forward financially secure and able to rebuild their lives. So we're going to, call it here. That's pretty good stuff. And if you got questions, let me know, or comment down below kind of thing. Just remember, you're not alone, and you have a support network and stuff you can lean on as well. There's resources available for you for this challenging time. And I want to thank you for joining me today on Breaking Ties, Is Divorce the Answer? So divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. And with that, have a good day. Welcome back to another episode of Breaking Ties, Is Divorce the Answer? I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And facing a potential divorce can probably feel a bit overwhelming. You might be wondering, should I hire a lawyer? The answer in most cases is really a resounding yes. So today we're going to explore how to get the most out of your divorce attorney. And it starts with, why would you need an attorney? And, the big thing is divorce involves a complex web of legal issues. When you're looking at property division, child custody, spousal maintenance, the list goes on, and toss in emotions running high. A skilled divorce attorney acts as your advocate, protecting your rights and really ensuring a fair outcome. They understand the law and can navigate the courtroom process if necessary. So let's look at finding the right attorney. And, it's pretty key, actually, because you're going to work with this individual for some time. So here's a few tips. Get referrals. Talk to friends, family, or even your doctor for recommendations. Anybody you know who you're comfortable with. Do your research. Look for attorneys specializing in family law and divorce in your area. Many offer a free consultation just to chat and check them out. Consider their experience. While a fresh face might be cheaper, a lawyer with a proven track record in cases similar to yours could actually be more beneficial. And then personality matters. You'll be working closely with this person during a very stressful time. So you're going to choose someone you feel comfortable with, someone who listens to your concerns and explains things in a way that you can understand. So once you have a few potential attorneys in mind, schedule consultations. Be prepared to discuss your situation, your goals for the divorce, and any questions you have. And just to get you started, here's a few things to think about asking. Their experience in handling cases like yours, their fee structure and estimated costs, their communication style and how often they update you, their approach to reaching a settlement versus going to court. Now, once you choose an attorney, be an active participant in your case. Gather important documents, which things like financial statements, tax returns, proof of assets. Be honest and upfront about your situation. The more information your divorce attorney has, the better they can represent you. And there's a few more tips here that I want to share with regards to your attorney, and that's communicate openly and regularly. You're also going to want to ask questions and clarify any doubts that you have. Respond promptly to requests for information because that will speed things up for you. And then trust your divorce attorney's expertise. But remember, the decision on things is yours. Now, a good divorce attorney is really your partner in the process. They can't wave a magic wand and make everything smooth sailing, but they can guide you through the legalities, protect your interest, and help you achieve a resolution that allows you to move forward with life. I'd like to thank you for joining me today on this episode of Breaking Ties. Is Divorce the Answer? Should you have any questions on today's topic or other financial planning issues, feel free to leave a comment or shoot me an email, give me a call. Happy to help. Divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. Have a great day. Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Breaking Ties. Is Divorce the Answer? I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And considering divorce really is one of those major life decisions, there's a lot to navigate both emotionally and practically. Today, we're going to tackle a checklist of things to consider before moving forward with a divorce. Probably tops on the list here is just considering reconciliation. Before diving into the legalities, take a moment for honest reflection. Have you explored all the avenues for reconciliations? Sometimes couples therapy or mediation can help you address underlying issues and rediscover a path forward together. However, if reconciliation feels impossible, a well-planned divorce can be the healthiest option for you and your family. When we often talk about divorce, a lot of it comes down to finances. So there's, a lot of financial considerations to take place, and you're going to want to start with some of these places, and that is getting your financial documents in order. Collect those bank statements, tax returns, investment records, and mortgage statements. And then you're going to want to understand your marital assets and debts. And this includes everything you own and owe, jointly and separately. You're going to have to consider your income and earning potential. How will this impact your financial situation post-divorce? And then it would be good to create a budget, factor in potential changes in living expenses and child support if you have kids. Next on the list, I would say, really comes down to building your support system. Divorce is emotionally draining. It's a very challenging time. So you're going to want to surround yourself with a support system, friends, family, even a therapist. Their compassion and guidance can be invaluable. Then next on our consideration list is really children in custody. So if you do have kids, their well-being is top priority. Now, some things to consider would be custody arrangements. Will you have joint custody or a primary custodial parent? The co-parenting plan, how will you communicate and make decisions about your children moving forward? And then the actual impact of the divorce on children itself. So explore resources to help your children adjust to the changes a divorce brings. Can't think about divorce without thinking of divorce attorneys and legal representation. So consulting a qualified divorce attorney is probably important. They can guide you through the legal process, explain your rights, and advocate for a fair settlement. Even if you have a simple case, sometimes it's good to have the divorce attorney. But if you have a complex case, you probably really should have one. And then you're going to have to prepare for the unexpected. The divorce process is going to take unexpected turns, things you didn't see. You're going to want to be prepared for the emotional roller coaster, potential delays, and the possibility of needing additional legal support. Now, remember, this is just a starting point. Every situation is unique, and you'll have to navigate that and figure things out, make a plan for yourself. Considering divorce requires some careful thought and preparation. While this checklist can help you navigate initial steps, don't discount getting a divorce attorney or other professionals to add to your team, like an accountant, financial advisor, certified divorce financial analyst, a divorce coach. I mean, there's a number of people who can assist you through the process. Thank you for joining us today on Breaking Ties. Is Divorce the Answer? Should you have any questions, leave a comment, or if it's more personal, feel free to email or call. Divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. And with that, take care. Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Breaking Ties. Is Divorce the Answer? I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And today we're going to tackle a question that often arises when considering this difficult path, and that are, what are the different types of divorce processes? Many people assume there's just one way to get divorced, a lengthy court battle filled with lots of drama. Fortunately, that's not always the case. Here, we're going to explore some options to consider, each offering varying levels of formality and cost, and it's going to depend on really what fits your circumstance, because every divorce is unique. We're going to start with the most common one here, the traditional litigation. This is the one that most people envision. Two attorneys representing each spouse, battling it out in court over child custody, property division, and spousal maintenance. While effective in resolving complex situations, it's also the most expensive and time-consuming. Emotions often run high, making communication difficult. So really, we don't want the long drawn-out thing. We'd prefer to have a more smoother course if it's possible. I mean, divorce is just brutal anyway. Now, mediation is another one, and that's where you got a neutral third party facilitating communication between spouses. They guide discussions, aiming for a mutually agreeable settlement on all issues. Mediation is generally less expensive and faster than litigation, but it relies on both parties being cooperative. Next, we have the collaborative divorce. And the collaborative divorce really involves a team approach. Each spouse has their own lawyer specializing in collaborative divorce. Together, they work with a neutral financial expert and, if necessary, a child specialist, all focused on reaching a fair agreement outside of the courtroom. Now we're going to move to the uncontested divorce. So this is the quickest and most affordable option when it comes down to it. I mean, both spouses really agree on all the terms before time, requiring minimal legal involvement. And it works best when the marriage is, say, short, assets are minimal, and there are no children involved. Remember, the best process for you depends on your specific situation. Look at your complexity. Do you have significant assets or child custody issues? There's got your budget. Can you afford a lengthy litigation process? And also look at communication. Can you work civilly with your soon-to-be ex-spouse? Remember, there's no one-size-fits-all approach. Consulting with a divorce attorney can help you understand your options and choose the best process that fits your needs. And that's going to do it for this episode of Breaking Ties. Is Divorce the Answer? Should you have any questions, drop a comment or, shoot me an email, give me a call. Divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. Take care. Hello, and welcome back to Breaking Ties. Is Divorce the Answer? I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And facing divorce with children adds another layer of complexity. So today's topic is on temporary child support, what it is, how it works. We're going to start with, gaining some understanding of temporary child support. And it's really a financial assistance paid by one parent to the other during the separation period until a final child support order is established in the divorce decree. Think of it as a bridge that helps ensure your children's needs are met while the legalities of your divorce are sorted out. Now, how is it determined? Well, similar to final child support, temporary support is typically based on state guidelines that consider several factors. Here are some of the big ones. We're going to start with income of both parents. Each parent's income and earning capacity are taken into consideration. The number of children, so the more children you have, the higher the support amount might be. Child care costs. If one parent is primarily responsible for child care, that cost might be factored in. Health insurance, who covers the children's health insurance and can also that can also play a role in this. And then current living situation, where the children live and the cost of maintaining that lifestyle is considered. Now, we're talking here about temporary, but there's also permanent support. So it's important to remember that the difference between temporary child support and permanent support is just that. Temporary child support is temporary. It's meant to address immediate needs of your children while the long-term plan is decided. The final child support order in your divorce decree might be higher, lower, or the same as your temporary amount, depending on the final settlement. Who gets to decide how much temporary child support will be? So there's a few ways temporary child support can be determined. One is with an agreement. You and your spouse can agree on an amount outside of court, but it's important to have that agreement documented by attorney nonetheless. Then there's a court order way. If you can't agree, a judge will use factors mentioned earlier to establish temporary child support. Now, there are some benefits of temporary child support, and really, it can provide much needed financial stability during a time of transition. It ensures your children's essential needs are met, regardless of who they live with, primarily during the separation. And then you might want some legal guidance. While temporary child support can feel like a temporary solution, it's important to have a long-term plan in mind. So consulting with a divorce attorney who's experienced in child support matters can help you navigate the legalities and understand your rights. That way, they can also advocate for a fair and sustainable solution for your children. Temporary child support can be a helpful tool during a difficult time. Remember, this podcast is informational purposes only, and really, you do want to seek legal counsel for your specific situation. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Breaking Ties. Is Divorce the Answer? Should you have any questions, leave them in the comments or call or email. Divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. All the best.